We do have two additions to the agenda for today. First is a deletion of the county master plan proposal. The second, under the financial, will be to add a new line, radio repair and maintenance by the treasurer. I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Berner, seconded by Commissioner Wilson, to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Has everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes for October 8th, 2013? Any additions or deletions? I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the October 8th, 2013 minutes.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Christenberry, seconded by Commissioner Wilson, to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Public comment. I will ask, can everyone hear in the back row? No problem? Very good.
Can you hear him?
No.
You're supposed to tell him.
I couldn't hear him.
Oh, yes.
Let him know. I can't hardly hear you.
You can't hear me?
Not real good.
We'll pull it just a little bit closer then. I thought it did. Yes. Is that any better?
Not for me.
Hey, Dan. Could you crank down a little bit?
Is anyone else having difficulty in the back row? What do I hear from the back row?
I heard you fine from where I was there, but I'm gonna try that.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. That's better?
Yeah.
All right. I did skip over the official minutes of the closed session, October 8th, 2013. Has everyone had an opportunity to read the closed session minutes? I will call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Board of Commissioners closed session minutes for October the 8th, 2013.
I'll support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Christenberry, supported by Commissioner Berner, to approve the closed session minutes for October 8th, 2013. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Our first appointment for this morning is Gail Farley and Joe Schwartzengruber on the Planning Commission to accept new membership.
Gail sends her apologies. She was called to work this morning on an urgent issue. I would like to propose Catherine Moore for membership to the Planning Commission.
Who's that? Did you say a name?
Catherine Moray.
Okay.
To planning EDA, or I'm sorry, EDC Brownfield.
How many members does that make, Joe?
That makes 5 voting members. That was what was budgeted.
So your voting membership is now Gail Farley, yourself, Tim Jenks, and Mike Smith
On the EDC.
on the EDC Brownfield. Well, that's planning EDC Brownfield, is it not?
No, so they're 2 different.
Mike can't be on the planning committee because he works for the county. So he's not actually on the county. Can't be on the county. You can't be on the planning commission if you have a job within the county. So he's only on the EDC Brownfield board. But he can't participate, he's a non-voting member, but he can participate in the planning
It's all
committee.
supposed to be one board.
And the ordinance that we passed, actually, that was eliminated, right?
We eliminated that section of the planning commission that he could not serve on the board because he was a county member, and we eliminated that section, I believe, in the last meeting, whereby that is no longer a factor. So he is on the planning EDC Brownfield board.
With or without Mike's voting membership, there's still only 5 voting. If you include Mike, there is 5.
Right, because that's when we eliminated the county commissioner as a voting member of that board. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to accept the appointment of Kathleen Murray to the Planning Commission Board and the EDC and Brownfield Board as recommended.
I'll support. I have a motion by Commissioner Wilson, supported by Commissioner Barrett, to appoint Catherine Moray to the Planning Commission Board and EDC Brownfield Board. Any discussion? Did you have any questions?
No, at this time, no.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're up, Michael.
All right. Try and keep this short since I was told I was long-winded at the Mentor Township meeting yesterday.
I will attest to that, having attended the Big Creek Township meeting.
Okay, so I'll try and keep it short and in a nutshell. What we're trying to do is get a river fest started right here in downtown Mile for the county. Lewiston has a Timber Fest, you know, the Alpen Fest is in Gaylord, and we have nothing here. I think there's an interest for it. Like I said yesterday, on our Facebook page, the first week it was up, we had 2,000 hits. I think we're in our 4th week, we're up to 4,000 people that have viewed that Facebook page, which isn't bad considering there's 8,500, right around 60 people in the county. Some of the things we got planned, just real brief, we have a parade planned. We have a history tent planned with some different attractions that you might not, probably haven't ever going to see or haven't seen at any other festivals. We have a lot of different tours planned. Some things that I've never heard of that we've been working on. Different tours of different unique things we have in the county. We have a 5K plan, which is a different venue than 5Ks of running downtown. We actually have it where we can do the 5K alongside the river that we're working on pulling the permits for. So what I'm here to ask of this commission is support for, one, the use of the courthouse grounds for that day, one day this year. Support for holding the parade at 11 a.m. on that day. And also for partial closure of 9th Street for a beer tent and bands. That'll be on 9th Street just for that day, which would close at 9 p.m. So that's the short version.
I will say, I did hear what you had to say about Big Creek, and I'll tell you folks, this is something I think we all need to get behind and support, because I think this is good for Oscoda County. And I commend these young people, and I say young because they're under 40. And almost
38.
And it's great that they step forward and they see the need and have taken the ball and started to run with it. And I'm not sure what we can do. I think as far as closing the street, that is not up to us.
That's road commission.
That is the road commission.
But we went, like I said, we went to Big Creek Township, we went to Mentor Township, and we're coming to you guys for support to make sure the county support is there, and then we're gonna go to the road commission and lay out our plan, what we have for the street closure. Basically, we want all the entities behind us to get this going. And we have a lot of stuff rolling, and believe me, I would be here all night talking about the plans that we have for this. We got really cool stuff planned.
I have not seen this kind of enthusiasm in a long time, and I commend you for it. And
Thanks.
this young lady in the back,
Thank you.
I'm sorry I forgot your name.
Brandy.
Randy.
And we got Matt Linsman here bringing in some
Yeah,
vendors.
I see Matt back there also.
And we've
Welcome,
got some,
Matt.
sorry, we got some awesome vendors planned. I like to talk.
Yes, we know. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to allow the River Fest event to use the Oscoda County Courthouse lawn on August 23rd, 2014. Promote the county by celebrating our most prized natural asset, the Oscoda River.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Berner, second by Commissioner Wilson on the first motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're not done yet, Mike.
Two more, Mike. Get back up there. We know you like this job. Hey, you're not done yet. Two more yet.
A lot of 20 minutes.
Closing the lawn.
What's that?
We haven't closed the street or the lawn yet.
They just,
Well, I don't see where we have any discretion on
the
it.
second motion is just supporting it.
Right.
That's all it's doing, is
All
giving
right.
him the support of the board.
Let's run through the next two motions then.
I'll make a motion to support the temporary closure of 9th Street for the OC Riverfest event on August 23rd, 2014 from 9 a.m. to midnight to promote the county by celebrating our most prized natural access to the river, Saddle River. I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wilson, supported by Commissioner Grantner. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
I'll make a motion to allow the temporary parade route for the River Fest event on August 23rd, 2014, starting at 11 a.m. with the assistance of the Sheriff's Department.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Berner, supported by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have your support, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else we can do?
Not at this time. I'm sure I'll come up with something though. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Not unfolding, I did.
Yeah, you really are on that.
No, I'll support him no matter what.
They're dry, you got it on. I don't know if Kevin's down there, but email somebody. All for it.
Our Veterans Affairs Officer, Liz Cuddington.
Good morning.
Good morning, Liz.
Is everybody regular. We recently did come up with 3 committee members for the Oscoda County Veterans Affairs Office. And they were reviewed and qualified under Public Act 192. I would like to request a motion to accept William Shattuck, Ronald Knotts, and Jack Treppa as the committee members for the Oscoda County Veterans Affairs Office.
Who else is on this board, Liz?
It's just the 3 members, and then of course we have the 2 commissioners that are the liaisons, but they're the ones that are going to be voting members of the committee.
We have a 3-member voting committee.
Yes. We, under Public Act 192, it's 3 to 5 members.
Right.
And because we're just establishing it, and of course, we really only had, well, we had 4, but 3 were qualified for the positions.
What qualifications is?
They have to be a veteran, and I had to have 1 member of each service organization in the county. So we do have 1 from the VFW here in Mayo. We have 1 from the American Legion here in Mayo, and we have another 1 from the American Legion in Luzerne.
That's what this Act 192 says?
Correct.
I have to admit, I did not read it.
That's okay.
I am reading it now, though.
Yes. And they were recommended by their commanders of their post, because that was another thing under Public Act 192, it was a recommendation under the post commander. Actually, one of the committee members is the actual commander of the VFW post, so we kind of look at him as a...
You have some heavy hitters, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That's good. That's very good. The only question I have is, were the gentlemen that were on our Soldiers and Sailors Board notified of this board? Did they apply or did they not?
No, they did not.
No, they were presented.
Yes, they were both, they were
Letters were
presented.
sent to them and stuff like that.
Because it was my understanding that Larry Largent was interested.
No,
He
we
backed
got,
out.
yeah, he backed out.
We backed out.
All right.
Yeah. We did send a letter out, we did ask them if they can continue their services, just transferred over to be our Veterans Committee instead of the Soldiers and Sailors, and nobody got back to us. And yeah, from what I understand, Larry Largent, when I talked to him at the time, was interested, but backed out. So there was a little more going on. He's got a lot of things going on, so.
Well, I just feel badly that we had 3 members of that board that have done a very good job over the past several years.
We did want them to come over with us.
And now they are out of it altogether.
Yeah, we didn't want them out. We wanted them to come over with us, but they didn't want to transfer over with us.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint William Shattuck, Ronald Knott, and Jack Treps to serve on the Department of Veterans Affairs Committee pursuant to MCL 35.621, effective November 1st, 2013.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Berner, supported by Commissioner Wilson, to appoint these 3 people. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. There you go.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Liz. Those of you who don't know, Liz is doing a fantastic job for our veterans here in Oscoda County since their inception, what, in April?
Yes, in April.
I'm very proud of that. I do not see Chris Gerber here.
Everybody's going real fast.
Should have let Mike speak a little longer.
Back up, Mike.
All right, so while we're waiting for Chris, I would like to welcome 2 young people that I recognize, one of the 2, I believe, from Fairview High School. Both of you? Would you please stand and be recognized, J.C.? J.C. Tuttle and...
Hannah Bills.
Pardon me?
Hannah Bills.
Anna Bills. Anna. See, I can't hear any better than you do. Would you explain to us why you've come to the board meeting this morning?
Fairview schools, in order to graduate, require seniors to be involved in the community, at least 2 hours of meetings per semester. So we have to sit in on like any meeting that involves the community.
Anything to add, Hannah?
Nope.
You always let J.C. do all your talking?
Usually.
Now, do you need a note from us to say that you were here?
Well, 5 of us sign it for you.
Well, we're glad you decided to come to our meeting this morning, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And very proud of our young people in this community. And if you're looking for something to do, have a talk with Mike. I'm sure he could find something for you to do with the OC Riverfest. I mean, you'd let the people from Fairview help out, wouldn't you? Mike?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to skip over and we'll go into our old business, the Board of Canvassers selection. I have 3 letters of intent. And what's your pleasure, people? You want to read these as I open them? You want me to read them? Okay, the first one I opened was from Laura A. Kendall. The Honorable Board of Commissioners, this letter is to inform the Chairman of the Board of my interest to serve on the Oscoda County Board of Canvassers. It would be a great pleasure to serve on this board and give back to my community. Although I have no prior experience, if I am selected, I will faithfully perform the duties bestowed on me to the best of my abilities. I have never been convicted of a felony or an election crime. I'd like to thank you for your considering me for this position. This is from Alice Stone. I am requesting consideration as one of the Oscoda County Republican Committee nominees to be appointed to the vacancy on the Oscoda County Board of County Canvassers. I was previously employed in the Register of Deeds, Clerk's Office in Oscoda County. One of the responsibilities was working election day counting and reviewing voter ballots. I've never been convicted of a felony or election crime. If appointed, I will discharge the duties of the position If appointed, I will discharge the duties of the position on the Board of Canvassers to the best of my ability. And for those of you who don't know the 3 questions that were asked of these people, one was, have you ever been convicted of a felony or an election crime? That's why you're hearing this. This is from Miriam Andrich. In reply to your recent request for additional information regarding the Oscoda County Board of Commissioners, I respectfully submit my interest in sitting on the Board of County Canvassers. I look forward to the privilege of serving Oscoda citizens to assure integrity sits in the electoral process. I have experience in the electoral process as qualified voters, inclusive of the professional experience, and participate properly as an appointed public official serving on the Board of County Canvassers. It that sound right to you?
Must have served somewhere else.
Must be a politician.
Yeah.
C, I have not suffered a felonious nor an election crime conviction here in Michigan, nor in any other jurisdiction within the United States of America.
Sounds like he served somewhere else.
Those are our three candidates. By protocol from the Board of Canvassers, this should be by secret ballot. I will not do that. So I am going to ask each commissioner to select one of the three. Do you want me to reread the names?
Point of order, please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
You did not read from the lawfully submitted list.
What was the lawfully submitted list? By whom
You hold this, please.
was it submitted?
The lawfully submitted list was sent certified mail to the Oscoda County Clerk's office on August 21st of 2013, which I mailed myself. I have the receipts right here. May I?
No, you can do it right from there.
Well, I want to show you this. So this is the receipt I received
I'm
from the
not-
post office.
I'm not disputing what you're saying.
I know. I'm just showing you the facts.
And what does it say?
Well, like I said, this is a receipt.
No, I don't care about that. What is your point?
All right. And the lawfully submitted list that was submitted by me as chairman of the Oscoda County Republican Party on August 21st was received on August 22nd of 2013 to the Oscoda County Clerk's office, Jerry Wenton. And it was signed by Lori Warren as an agent, which should be given to the County Clerk, Jerry Wenton. The list I submitted per following state election law comes from me, Douglas Davis Jr., 149 Marty Drive, Mile, Michigan, 48647, August 21st, 2013. To the Oscoda County Commissioners, County Clerk, Register of Deeds, Oscoda County Republican Party, 149 Marty Drive, Mile, Michigan, 48647. Dear Oscoda County Commissioners, per my statutory obligations, I hereby nominate Alice Stone, 629 South Circle Drive, Mile, Michigan, 48647. Miriam Handrich, 989-745-8426. Joseph Stone, 629 South Circle Drive, Mile, Michigan, 48647. To the Oscoda County Board of Canvassers to fill an upcoming vacancy of an expiring Republican's term occurring on November 1st, 2013. Sincerely and signed, Douglas Davis Jr., Chair of the Oscoda County Republican Party.
Yes, sir. And what happened at your next meeting, sir?
Well, that would actually be null and void because as a letter received from the Bureau of Elections in Lansing per Christopher Thomas' office to the Michigan State Republican Party Chairman Robert Shostak sent out to each county chair. August 5th, Mr. Robert Shostak, Chairperson, Michigan Republican Party, 520 Seymour Street, Lansing, Michigan, 48933. Dear Mr. Shostak, the terms of two members of the Board of County Canvassers established in each county expire on November 1st this year. Parenthesis, one Republican member and one Democratic member. End parenthesis. Michigan election law provides that the expired terms must be filled as follows. The county political party committees are required to provide the local county clerk with the names of 3 nominees for the party's expiring seat on the board no later than September 1st, 2013. Michigan Code Law 168.24c. The County Board of Commissioners is required to fill the 2 vacancies on the board by electing a Republican member and a Democratic member from the submitted names. The County Clerk is required to notify the appointees within 5 days, Michigan Code Law 168.24a, parenthesis 3. Your assistance in advising your county political party committees of the September 1st, 2013 nominee submission deadline would be appreciated. Please do not hesitate to contact this office if you have any questions. Sincerely, Christopher M. Thomas, Director of Elections. I have a copy of it here, which I sent on an email as chairman of the party to everyone who had an interest in this. So, what happened at that September 5th, 2013 Republican meeting is null and void because it happened after September 1st. Any action submitting a fraudulently illegal act such as Laura Kendall's name for the Board of Commissioners is a violation of state election law because it happened after September 1st.
And you're saying that her application to the county clerk was null and void because you
Did the
didn't
county clerk
approve
turn
it?
it in to the Board of Commissioners?
Pardon me?
Did the county clerk turn it into the Board of Commissioners?
Yes.
She should be staying within compliance with the laws of her office.
Pardon me?
She should be staying in compliance per the laws of her office.
If I may chime in briefly.
Please.
Doug, I believe that you actually chaired the following meeting in which an amended list was provided after the original list was submitted to the Board of Commissioners. Therefore, it's not in violation with state law. It was an amended list and notice was given within the time restrictions.
Did I turn in a list with my signature on it? Yes or no?
Yes, and one of those
You have a
names
list with
has-
my signature on it consenting.
Why is Joe Stone's resignation or asking to be
It's
withdrawn?
after the
from
fact.
it?
The list is the list that was submitted before September 1st. Now, if you guys were to pick him, he could say, I don't want it. The list is a list. It came in before September 1st.
Doug, you chaired the second meeting in which an amended
Did
list
I
was
submit a
provided.
list condoning to that action that took place at that meeting?
I don't get the list. I'm just saying you chaired it.
Did
so
I,
if action
did I,
was
did I
taken,
submit a
you
list with my
probably
signature
should've-
on it giving consent to that? Yes or no?
If you could maybe permit me to finish my statement before you chime in. You chaired the following meeting. You approved the amended list. You took the resignation from the individuals who attended that meeting. So for you to pass the buck on to the commissioners today is inappropriate because you should have handled it at the meeting. Not asking them to do it now. Just throwing that out there.
I
You
explained.
have created a tremendous amount of confusion here by your conduct at two meetings of the Republican Party. We are doing what we feel is best for Oscoda County. We had 3 submissions prior to your coming to the meeting and submitting your list. Your list did not include the 3 that had already been submitted to the county clerk for whatever reason, I don't know. Can you explain to me why the 3 people that we had letters from showing an interest were not considered by the Republican Party?
It's not true. I sent out, I
Now
sent,
wait a minute.
I
Wait a
sent
minute.
out an
Answer
email.
my question. Why were they not included in your consideration?
I sent out an email before September 1st, before I even mailed this letter, asking the Republican Party if anyone would be interested in filling this expiration that was coming up on November 1st of 2013.
Okay. And? What did you
Laura
get?
Kendall never gave anything in.
Wait a minute. You just made a statement that you were filling a position that expired November 1st.
If they were interested in filling a position that expired of November 1st.
And you're saying these
and I
3
also
names?
sent
Now, wait a
in
minute.
along
Could I
this
finish
letter.
for once?
I don't know why
Let
you're
me
trying to
finish my
misconstrue
statements.
Michigan State election law.
You are out of order, sir.
All right.
I have the floor. You made a statement that your list was for the unexpired term, which expires November 1st. Is that what your 3 names are given for?
Yes.
And that's the term that A.J. Welser is now holding. Is that correct?
What A.J. Welser filled was the
Now, wait a
April
minute.
2012
The
vacancy.
3 names that you've submitted, Joe Stone, Alice Stone, and Miriam Handrich, what you're telling me was to fill the expired term that expires November 1st. Is that what you just said?
Yes, no.
That's what you just told me. And if
I'm
that's
gonna,
the case,
I want to bring this
they
forward to you,
cannot be
please, so you can read
considered
this yourself.
as list for the term that starts November 1st.
I'm going to bring this forward, and you can read it yourself. I would ask that you read it aloud.
From who?
It's from the Bureau of Elections, Christopher Thomas.
Well, what you read doesn't even address the issue that we're talking about.
Do what you want. I will have no choice to follow the law in filing a complaint to the Bureau of Elections, Christopher Thomas office.
Well, you're totally entitled to do whatever you want. But you just made a statement that I do not have an answer from you.
I gave you all the answers. I don't
You
know
said
how.
the three names were submitted to fill the term that expires November 1st.
Yes. I submitted those names. I sent it in the mail August 21st of 2013, which was received August 22nd of 2013.
Again, why were the three people that the clerk already had letters from, why were they not included?
Oh, you already received letters.
Yes, I did.
What are the
Letters
dates of
of
these
intent.
letters? When were the dates of these letters?
In August? First part of
You
August?
sent out your massive email.
When I sent my message email. What letters are they?
They were from Lori Warren, Laura Kendall,
Tina Bruno.
Oh, you mean the...
I feel that this is on our long enough. We're gonna, the board executive committee at the Republican meeting voted on the three candidates, and I don't think we need to continue.
Committee doesn't need to vote on it.
Yes, they do. If you read the executive committee votes on the names to submit to the clerk. And that was submitted in the minutes.
Which minutes? Was it an official Republican meeting?
You were there sharing it,
You said these letters came in August. I never received any letters.
because you've been throwing your little fit, so let's just move on.
Well,
Excuse me.
let's don't go there. Let's don't go there. As far as I'm concerned, we're in compliance.
I want to know when these letters came in. Do you have an exact date in August?
I didn't bring them with me because this has been hashed over and I assume.
Does this pertain to August the 21st of 2013?
Doug,
Does
these
it?
three names that I have read letters from were agreed to by the Republican Party.
Was I at that meeting?
Yes, you chaired that meeting.
In August.
I am telling you what you've done.
What I've done.
As chairman of the Republican Party, you made the decision at that Republican meeting to name the three names that we have listed today. I am going to call for a vote from this commission for one of the three names that was agreed to by the Republican Party at their meeting, which was unofficial because the minutes were so screwed up.
But I thought this came from an
Nobody.
August meeting. Those minutes were screwed up or from September.
Well, you have a problem within your party, and I suggest that you get it straightened out. And at this point, I'm going to call for one name out of the three to be named to the Board of Canvassers starting November 1st. Would you do roll call, please?
I will do roll call once we pick one.
No, we have, that's how we're going to pick one. Each member of the board will select a name, and then we will do a motion to appoint that person to the Board of Canvassers.
All right. Commissioner Christenberry.
Laura Kendall.
Commissioner Gretner.
I'll go with Laura Kendall.
Commissioner Wilson.
I'm going to abstain to vote on this mess.
I don't think you can abstain, sir. We have a problem.
It's too much of a mess.
It is a mess.
Yellowstone.
Commissioner Kishnick.
Laura Kendall.
Commissioner Warner.
Laura Kendall.
We have 4 votes for Laura Kendall. By your suggestion, Doug, and the Republican Party, we have selected Laura Kendall to the Board of Canvassers for the Republican Party. I will entertain a motion.
Make the motion to appoint Laura Kendall, representing the Republican Party, to the Board of Canvassers for a 4-year term.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Christenberry, support by Commissioner Bernard. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
I oppose.
We have 4 votes for, 1 vote against. Yes. Our equalization director is here now, if she would like to step forward and give her report.
Pursuant to 21136 and 21137 of the general property tax laws, county boards of commissioners throughout the state of Michigan meet each year in what is called apportionment. And at that time, it is to direct the spread of taxes in terms of millage rates that are to be spread on the taxable values that were already set in May. In our county, we have 14 taxing authorities. The county and all of its subcategories is 1. We have 6 townships. We have 4 K-12 school districts, 1 college, and 2 ISDs, intermediate school districts. So there are 14 altogether. They have submitted to the county through my office and the clerk's office copies of their millage requests for 2013. The math has been checked on all of these forms and verified that they have all complied with the different millage rollbacks. I'd like to just briefly go over the report with you since it's a new form we haven't seen. The state now issues them email and we fill them out and submit back through email, but I have made a paper copy for the board to look at. And just quickly, I'll go over it, and then if you have any questions, I can address them. On the first page, it's giving you the county millage levy. It's the sheet that we enter the levies on, the actual millages. And you can see if you go down the townships. Let's just look at Big Creek, the top township. It's got .8720, I believe. And then across from it, it's got 9714. That 9714 is their fire millage. And when we get into the next page, we will see how that calculates. It also shows in the lower right-hand quadrant the school districts and the amount of operating millages that they levy. So if you go to page 1, I have blown it up so it's a little easier for me to read. The state forms are so small, it's difficult to make out an 8 from 3 for me. Again, it's pretty much the same thing that you've seen on the first sheet. At the top, we show under the County of Oscoda our taxable value, which was set as I indicated in May. Then in column C, it shows the 5.8717. And then in column D, it tells you the tax dollars we will collect from that. Column E, the 3.05, is a total of all of the other millages that are levied, library, ambulance, etc. And the total amount of tax dollars that will bring in. And then in the far right column I, it shows the grand total that the county will collect. And then down under the townships, it's the very same thing, their taxable value times their millage rate. And if they have extra voted, that's in column N, which is difficult to see. And then in the far right column, which is R, it shows grand total dollars collected for that unit. So if you go on to the next pages, actually there are 2 page 2s. There is 2A and 2B. They came out in a very long sheet and I blew them up so that we could read them, so that I could read them. And these are the school districts. their taxable values. They have to be broken down by homestead, non-homestead. And then you have to look into page 2B to see on the far column M what the total of those millage levies are for each school district that we have. And that is what's within the county. For example, with West Ranch Rose City, it's a very small amount, but we just have about a 4 square mile area that is in South Branch, that's West Ranch Rose City District. So that's what is collected within our county. It's not their total tax collections. Okay, then on to page 3, it's the community college and the 2 ISDs, Kirtland, Core, and Kopp. Again, it's the very same thing, taxable value times the different millage levies, broken out by their categories and then totaled at the far right. Do I have any questions on how to read that report? Okay, I can guarantee that the millages have been double, triple, and quadruple checked. We do that before we order taxes because in the past we have had incorrect taxes, which can create a little extra revenue for a double run. But we have corrected these when necessary, and I can assure that they are the right figures. Today, there is a sheet which I will sign that says it is my work. I have done this for the county. It takes my signature and it'll take your clerk. For notarization. And if there are no questions, I would recommend at this time that you adopt the report as presented within the written report I've given you.
You had a question, Lynn?
Yeah. When you were going through that on page 1, where you mentioned Oscoda County and then we have a taxable value of the $391 million.
Correct?
That's the whole county.
Yes.
And then we go back and then we tax Bay Creek Townships and all that too, and that's just their township?
That is their township levy.
Okay.
So it's by taxing authority, and it will show what their millage levy is and the amount of revenue that they will collect from us.
But on the taxable value though, it's the whole county, and then we break down the townships. We aren't taxing them. This isn't like a double tax. This is this their share of it, right?
It is not a double tax.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Because, to explain that a little further, it's because on the county as a total, we're levying our 5.8717 plus the 3.05, and that's all we're levying. So the township goes against that total taxable value for the unit, which is far less than the entire county.
Okay.
So it's against their total of the township total taxable value times the millage they want to collect.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2013 apportionment report as presented by the Oscoda County Equalization Director, Chris Gerber, at the Board of Commissioners annual meeting held on October 22nd, 2013, as required under MCL 46.1.
Thank you. Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Grantner, supported by Commissioner Christenberry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Kendall, I
Well,
believe
yes,
it's
sir.
your turn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just here to give you the third quarter investment report for Oscoda County. By now you've seen several of these, and I will answer any questions. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. Just a few highlights. One, well, or lowlights, investment rates are not moving. If anything, they have come down even a little bit more if that's possible. Also, on my report, I did have an agency bond that was getting 1.25%. That bond was called. So the new report shows 1% because I reinvested that money.
You can't tell them that they can't do that?
Unfortunately, no. If it was a non-callable bond, then we would have to put the money out longer, and Oscoda County doesn't have that kind of funds to put out for that long a time. Also, during the end of September, after we sent out delinquent notices, in October, we did take in several $100,000 in delinquent tax money. So on the first line where it says First Merit checking account, that large number, I have invested about $580,000 of that money into some financial institutions to keep it insured and also liquid, because in about 5 months we will need it for the upcoming 2013 taxes around April 1. Other than that, that's about the only changes since the last report, unless you have any questions for me.
I see we had more money to invest, but no returns on it.
And that's part of it. And when you get to interest rates that are paying 0.25% or less, many banks will charge fees to put money in their bank. So you might not even realize that 0.25%. So sometimes, because we deal with First Merit, it's worth keeping a little extra in there to offset those fees. First Merit, formerly Citizens, has been very good with Oscoda County in either reducing or removing fees that they would normally charge. Once rates go up, that's not such an issue, because then you see the interest, the fees are minimum compared to that. But at 0.25%, you're just making no money on your investment.
May even be paying them.
Well, if that ever happens, I call the bank and they make sure that we don't pay them, or they won't have our money in Oscoda.
Okay, we don't need a motion or anything to accept
This is just something I have to supply to the board every quarter.
And we appreciate it. We don't like bad news, but it's not all bad.
It's not all bad.
Did you want to go into the line item we added?
Yeah, the emergency management coordinator has asked us to add a radio equipment maintenance line. We were looking at a couple of different things, but because most of her radios are purchased, I believe, through grants, we wanted to keep that specific like we do the Sheriff's Department. So that's the reason for requesting that line.
Say that again? The same way as the Sheriff's Department?
The Sheriff's Department has a special line for radio equipment repair. Most everybody else just has an equipment repair line that's kind of general for all equipment. But because the radios are purchased mainly through grants, we wanted to track that separately. Because many grants we have to track separately. Okay.
I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the treasurer's office to create a new line for the emergency management operations budget 426 for radio repair / maintenance.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Berner, supported by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Okay, thank you.
Make the new line, Bill. Master Service Agreement with Telnet Worldwide Telephone Service. Dan, you still here?
Yep, I heard.
You Would you explain this to me?
Well, what this is a offer from that company, which is a partner with Merit. Merit's the person that's, or the organization that's bringing in the fiber optic connection to our building. And we had looked at that previously, I think it was June, and we voted to approve that. So that fiber optic connection is coming in, and that will be paid for by grant funds. So that's gonna, the installation of the fiber optic is covered. This is what kinds of services are gonna travel over that fiber optic connection to us. And we'd already talked about the internet connection, which is through Merit. And this is about an opportunity to have phone service through that same fiber connection. And one of the things that they included in their pricing to us was for using this company, this Telnet, to provide the phone service to us over that fiber connection, which would eliminate our current connection through Michigan Access or M33 Access. And they took the information we had from our phone bills, they analyzed it, they said, we can save you money to the tune of, this is a best guess, because it's not exact numbers, because usage changes a little bit, but they thought overall the savings would be approximately $300 per month. And that's for all of our phone services that we currently have. So they included that in their pricing, and I realized that when we did the vote previously to go with the internet connection, I didn't have a contract from them, or we would have signed it at that time probably. But we talked about phone and we talked about internet both at that meeting, but then I didn't have the paperwork to complete the transaction. He since has forwarded that to me, and I have a new development as well. The existing provider now is saying that, oh, we could provide you with lower cost service as well. And so I honestly have to say I'm interested in hearing that. I haven't heard that from anyone previously. And now all of a sudden I hear, okay, we can change how much you're being charged per month as well and lower our monthly fees. I have no vested interest in going with Telnet or with Michigan Access. I don't care. I want to get the same service for less is what I'm interested in doing. And I'm doing my best to try to provide that and to give you information so that we can, it's a telephone service, It's like an Apple. If you can get an Apple cheaper from someone else and it's just as good as an Apple, why wouldn't you choose the less expensive Apple? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to compare apples to apples in our phone service and go with the organization that has, and we have to assume that their level of service is going to be pretty much equal. They're both reputable companies. So I'm trying to figure out who can provide us with the lowest cost telephone service. That information is, I have additional information that we originally got from Telnet, and I can provide that to you, but with this new development of the guy, I just got a phone call this morning from our existing telephone provider saying...
Who is that?
It's actually, I don't know if he's here or not. Okay. And you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning, Board. My name is Jeff Mello, and I own FutureCom Incorporated in Prudenville. I'm here on behalf of FutureCom and Michigan Access. I have worked with the county and the Sheriff Department for about the last 6 years as a consultant, and have brought in the current service from Michigan Access, the current phone service to Michigan Access, and then oversee the remote sites as well for the phone services that are provided into those facilities. When you change your internet service that comes into the building from a wireless service to a fiber service, it opens up a lot of other opportunities, opportunities that don't exist today for the current provider, Michigan Access. When that fiber comes into the building, not only will that fiber have the ability to carry your internet traffic, it will then have the ability to carry your voice calling or phone calling at a potentially significantly reduced rate. And so I'd like to, at some point in the not too distant future, also get a revised proposal from Michigan Access and possibly one other provider in front of you so you can make the best informed decision on spending of the money.
And I believe that that's in our best interest. It's in our best interest when we have providers that are willing to take a look at it and say, okay, here's two providers, let's look at them, each of them lay out what they say they provide and for what cost, and let's look at them both and decide, as you decide as a board, what would be the best way to go. So it's new information that we didn't have before. I think it's in our best interest to give them an opportunity to do that. I guess I would say I would prefer us to table it until a future meeting, but just so that we know we have some potential cost savings out there, we believe. And
Very good, Dan.
we want to try and capture those. And so that's my only involvement in it, is to let's take advantage of this line that's coming in and try to make some money back every month.
Jeff, thank you for being with us today and giving your input. Dan, thank you. And I think I will ask the board, with their good graces, that we will table this until a future date, and then ask you to spearhead this collection process and bring us a report back.
Okay, and I have information that I was going to pass out from Telnet. We might as well just wait and get what Jeff's going to give us, and then do that all at once so we can evaluate it.
You agree with that, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Does anyone disagree with that decision? It is on the table. Until a future date.
And you'll let me know when that is.
You'll be the second to know. Under financial, a budget amendment, Departments of Veteran Affairs. Who's going to spearhead that, and what is it? What do we want to do here?
Well, if you read the paragraph above, it says that the board has already allocated $6,400 toward creating a Department of Veterans Affairs. Once we got the $10,000 grant approved for that, that was for that purpose alone, is to establish that. I would like, with these amendments that you have in front of you, will equal out to the $10,000. We'll take into account already the amount of money that the board has appropriated or allocated, plus the additional fees, and we should be good to go.
Okay, my question here is, it says Liz no longer an employee. Is that because it goes down to the last item where Liz's wages
She's now
will be reimbursed back to Roscommon?
She's no longer a county employee, or a payroll employee, however you want to.
And what is this cover rent with OCAPs? Is that part of that $3,100?
Yes, that is the building rent. If you look at your lines there, there was not enough money to appropriated in that particular line, so that's going to bring everything up to par. So that's what that is.
Okay.
This is just for this year. This is just the balance of the year here.
Are you in agreement with this, Liz?
Yes.
All right. Better yet, do you understand what we're doing here? What's the pleasure of the board? Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to amend the Department of Veterans Affairs budget 682, so amend those reflected expense line as a revenue line related to the veterans grant received.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Berner, seconded by Commissioner Grantner. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, wait a minute. Roll call.
Commissioner Kishnick?
Yes.
Mr. Berner?
Yes.
Commissioner Kishner?
Yes.
Commissioner Grantner?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wilson?
Yes. Nobody wanted this one, send it back. You got it in there.
It's already been done.
Oh, have it?
That's just an FYI.
Where's my FYI on there?
Just a minute.
How about you, Pastor? You have any idea? Yeah, I got it now. Terrific.
Circuit Court. Needs more money.
Are you looking at me? I'm not the circuit court. I have nothing to do with that budget.
You do now? You've been drafted.
All right. They're requesting a software to allow appeals to be processed for circuit court electronically as part of the Cherryland system. County paid for the Cherryland system to be installed back in 2012 and currently pays just the maintenance. One-time fee of $950. And I think Mark and I talked about this, and there's another $375 in the letter that says maintenance will be covered under your current maintenance agreement, and an additional charge will include installation and training, which will be billed separately and can be done remotely. Well, that's wonderful. So I believe that's what,
I believe all she's requesting right now is the $950. Once it gets installed and everything, I believe she'll take the training.
well, I agree with that, but then we're gonna have to come back and do another motion to approve the $375, are we not?
Well, let's
That
let
would
him come,
actually
let's
be
let him
taken
come back.
probably out of her particular, or out of Circuit Court's particular budget, I believe.
All right.
So either way, I guess, if we do it now or later, yeah, because I think I'm gonna have to get with her on her budget.
We're gonna pay the bill regardless, is that correct?
It's almost like we have to. It's one of those,
Yeah.
we don't have a choice.
I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to purchase the software for Circuit Court of Appeals transfer module in the amount of $950, paid out of General Fund 101-115-819.00 Government Administration, moved from contingency and so amend the budget.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Grantner, supported by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Grantner?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kishnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Berner?
Yes.
Commissioner Kishner?
Yes.
We have the bills. Claims and all.
did you?
No,
There was a bill on here from the Big Creek Township, and it was for the ATV. I gave a copy of the agreement to Bob, and we were under the understanding that everything was paid for. And I don't believe that we should pay that.
How much is it?
It was $398. We paid them $895 before.
Well, there's actually two, because I bill $143.30 to the county and $398.03 to the ambulance department, so it's two.
what was billed was $143 to the county.
It says past due immediately, the amount due by county according to the ambulance director. I don't know.
As I understand it, this has been a while past, since they said it was for quite a while. The 143, the dispute that we had initially after the contract was signed with Bob, which I thought was fair, there were a couple more outstanding charges they had added on. The 143 comes from the fact they sent the ATV to Lewiston to get fixed when it should went to our county motor pool, it should went to Rod. And I said, I'm not paying that, this should have gone to motor pool, not ours. So they elected to send it to the county for billing, which I told them to do. I said, you can try and send it to the county, but I'm not paying for that, that should have went to our motor pool to get fixed. They also tacked on to that 143, I believe it was, the itemized billing had for 3 crew members and the truck transport up there. So I told them, we're not paying that, we should go into our motor pool, and so they said, if they want to go to the county, they can. The major part was for the racetrack and for staffing it for the short time it was. And they said it was an outstanding bill above and beyond what we settled back in March. So that part I agreed to pay.
Right, because when I was intern there, I went out and saw Randy and Dwayne, and we discussed that, and Randy dropped it down to that amount, and that's the one we paid. And now all of a sudden, we're starting to get these other bills, which we paid that. It's all done and taken care of, my understanding.
That was my understanding too. When I sat down and talked to them, this was a couple months ago, so I'm a little rusty on it.
Are you right, Dwayne? You were there with me with Randy.
Yes,
And
yes.
you agreed, and Randy agreed, and
There was reduced.
it was reduced down to this $890 some, or whatever it was, and it was $895, and it was done with.
That was my understanding. Let me say one thing though, under the old ambulance director, we did talk to the motor pool, and repair up in Lewiston was per the ambulance director, to take it up there, have it repaired, so.
But he is the one who stated that.
Yes.
He was the one who took them up instead of going to maintenance or motor pool and have them take care of it. And so why it was billed, and then like you say, transportation, the guy's taking it up there and back, got paid. That's why we agreed to that last motion there, on that contract with Randy. He lowered it down, said we paid it, we're done with it. So my feeling is, we don't need to owe any more. There was an agreement, was signed by Randy, Dwayne, and I, and it was done with.
I think they need 4 people to take an ATV somewhere.
Yeah, to haul it up.
No, I agree.
So do we need to sit down with Dwayne? Do we need to sit down with you and Randy, or?
Probably with Randy and myself, yes.
Because I think I remember at the Big Creek meeting, Bob is the one that brought this up.
Palmer, yes.
Palmer.
And Sue Avery.
Yeah, Sue.
Again, my understanding, please don't know how it was, but I know there was a little discrepancy in there, but I thought the biggest problem that I had heard was over training dollars, and that was a separate little issue. And again, Randy and them had said that they were happy. I didn't hear anything until this last township meeting where they were requesting funds.
Said he lowered it down, he agreed to it, I signed it, Randy signed it, and I believe you signed it too.
Yes.
And it was done with. So why this other issue is now coming up, I don't understand that.
Nor
Because
I
everything was
hadn't
taken
heard
care of.
anything until that meeting.
Right, everything else was taken care of at that point in time.
In this letter that we have, it spells it totally out that this is for everything. When we included the check, when we mailed it to Big Creek.
Yes. Again, I'll do some checking and get back with the board and let you know if there's any.
Well, do we need to pull this out of the claims and audit then?
I
The 398.03 one.
Because I didn't put the 143 in.
All right, Commissioner Berner, would you look into this matter and resolve it for the next meeting? Thank you. Okay, excluding the 39803, I will entertain a motion on the claims and audit.
I make a motion that we approve the claims and audits from October the 22nd, 2013, except for the $398.03.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Christenberry, supported by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kushnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Berner?
Yes.
Commissioner Christenberry?
Yes.
And Commissioner Gretner?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to correspondence, reports, and resolutions. I have one letter from the Department of Environmental Quality. It says, Dear Mr. Kishnick, the locally approved amendment to the Mount Morenci Oscoda County Solid Waste Management Plan amendment received by the Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, on June 17, 2013 is hereby approved with modification. The plan amendment required some modifications that were sent to both Mount Morenci and Oscoda counties on September 6, 2013. The modification approvals were received from Mount Morenci and Oscoda counties on September 16, 2013. And then it lists the following changes. What that means to you folks, the landfill now has been approved by the DEQ with the amendments to the work plan, so that if RER decides to break ground out there and begin the gasification process, we now have the documentation to do so. Any other correspondence, reports, or resolutions? Hearing none, committee reports. Mr. Berner.
On October 16th, Jack and I met with the POLC union, and we were just going over some of the negotiations, getting that thing rolling. Then later on that afternoon, we met with Jason from the ambulance, went over his budget, and it's very good. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
10-11, EDC board met. We're contemplating about splitting the two boards up, planning waste from the Brownfield EDC board. We're going to contemplating splitting the two boards, making two different boards. 10-10 landfill, went over the third quarter adjustments, the budget, gas probe installed, basically nothing there going on except for what Jack just read. 10-11 budget, went over the budget with Liz, talked about what we just went through. 10-14 MTA meeting, they went over the blight ordinance, and they're working on a new building ordinance to do away with a lot of these abandoned buildings. They're trying to get something together on that, the MTA is. 10-15, Jack and I went over the budget with Buffy. 10-16, Mark and I went over with Gail on EDC budget. 10-17, Lee and I met with Joe Brito over his budget. 10-18, claims and audit. 10-21, Lee and I met with Tim on his budget for the building department. 10-21, Elmer Township last night. They basically just went over their bills, nothing going on out there. That was it.
Thank you. I've already talked about the landfill. I was there on 10-11 with Larry. On 10-14, the Council on Aging. A couple of interesting things came out of that. The director at the Council on Aging gave us his annual report. And for those of you who don't think anything's going on over there, they served 30,503 total meals for fiscal year 12-13. Fiscal year ended September 30th. And that's quite impressive when you stop and think about that. And the home-delivered meals, the amazing thing to me is the Commission on Aging people drove 34,865 miles to deliver meals to homebound people. That is quite impressive as far as I'm concerned. 4,790 hours of in-home service for seniors and caregivers. 4,790 hours. That's a lot of care given to not only people that are homebound, but also to those caregivers that need time to get away from the people that they're caring for. And I, again, thought that was quite impressive. On 10/15, we had the meeting with Buffy, as Larry stated, and labor negotiations on 10/16. I thought that was a very good meeting with EOLC. We're going to discuss that later on in closed session. All in all, I don't feel the labor demands were outrageous. We're not going to agree with them, but they weren't outrageous. On 10/17, I went to NEMCOG over in Hillman. It was their annual meeting at the Brush Creek Mill. If you haven't been to the Brush Creek Mill, stop over. It's a nice little place. And you can't miss it. You go across, when you go into Hillman from the south, you go across that brand new bridge, and it's right there on the left. The MDOT has a new brochure, or bicycling guide, road and trail bicycling guides, and they had 50,000 of them put out. You should be able to find some at the Chamber of Commerce office, and they're going to be distributing those throughout the county. And if you need one, let me know. I can get boxes of them. And actually, I did take a look at it, and it is an extremely nice trail brochure or map. And it tells you the hiking trails, the snowmobile trails, the motorcycle trails, you name it. It's well, horse trails too. Just for you, Sandy, I wanted to bring that up. Horse trails. Anyhow, that is available now as of last Thursday. They just got it in. And I did find out, and I was singled out by Nico at the meeting, that Oscoda County has never received a Park and Rec grant from the MDOT. So I'm making that a vendetta that we will change that. We will get some grants somewhere down the line. Probably won't be this year, but we'll take a look at it. On 10/17, we did the claims and audit out at the landfill. Again, and we're still amazed by the vaporizing unit that is doing the job out there and the savings that the landfill is realizing. I keep harping on that, but it's $57,000 has been saved in hauling fees and cleaning fees from Alpena. Then on 10/22, that was this morning, I went to the Road Commission meeting. And Ron, I will, in front of these people, apologize to you for my actions 2 weeks ago. Those of you that were here know that I stated a mechanic and a laborer or driver were hired, and I named them. I should not have named them because they had not been notified yet. And by my naming them, I may have offended some people, and I apologize, Ron, for doing that. I will say today, they have hired a new mechanic, or are going to hire a new mechanic, and I'll leave it at that. They have him selected. And I don't know what you call that building over there, Ron, that you're gonna put the new roof on, but they did approve putting a new roof on the building behind our motor pool.
Sign shop.
It's a sign shop. And I believe the Chamber of Commerce has Christmas things stored in there as well. So that'll be getting a new metal roof, I believe, within the not too far distant future. That's it for me.
On October the 11th, I went down to Lansing and met with Mead Hunt and MDOT regarding the airport, what the next project was going to be. And in 2014, the plans are for paving around the hangars and to construct a taxiway to the hangars. And they still are kind of waiting to hear from the government to see if they're going to continue with the grant. So October the 17th, Larry and I met with the maintenance department head, Joe Brio, for his budget. October the 18th, went over the bills for the claims not. October the 21st, Larry and I met with the building department head, Tim Whiting, for his budget. And that's all.
On October 16th, Bob and I, again, he said, met with Jason in the ambulance department. Also on the 16th, we had a presentation with the Literacy Council with Steve Lapham about liability insurance. I couldn't believe that we're trying to teach people to read and we have to have liability insurance. But I understand why, because you got tutors working with children and things could happen. But a sad state of affairs when that happens. Tutoring in the school started Monday. On the 16th, we also met with the library board. There was a vacancy and they did pick up someone to serve on that board. They're going to go review personnel policies, ordering their shelves, and getting bids out for paint construction. On the 17th, I met with the Oscoda Valley Community Mental Health. State's dropping their budget. They're going to have to shrink some programs. The jail service, community mental health will continue to take care of our prisoners. You got that letter, Kevin?
I did, but I was at conference and they were talking about that.
Okay, they will continue to pay for our residents, but as it's known that all services, medical services for prisoners are the county of residents' responsibility, and I don't think that affects us too much. And they're going to cut all required, non-required people from their programs. They've done a lot with their money. And now that money's getting tight, they're going to have to start shrinking it up. In 1017, I met with the Oscoda Valley Community Mental Health Building Committee. We went over some bids that were projects that were already budgeted. And on the 18th, we went to DHS, Department of Human Services. They did a demonstration of electronic data management. Mayo was the first one to get online. Basically, they're trying to go paperless. They scan the paper, they keep it for 90 days, and then they shred it, which made me wonder a little bit. I guess they put all this stuff up in the cloud. I don't know. Crawford Building is still in limbo because the guy is trying to move them out and can't seem to find a place to put them that's satisfactory to them. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Granger. All commissioners. Moving on to public comment. Sandy, you have your hand up.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. First of all, there was 11 riders out at Luzerne camp last weekend, and they raised over $800 in pledges for St. Jude. So I just wanted to pass that on.
Very good.
And even in spite of the